Broadcasting from our subterranean studios in beautiful Paradise Valley, Pennsylvania, it's Business and Brain Tumor Talk, a unique show with topics to educate, inspire, and implement. Without further ado, here's your host, Rick Franzo.
Welcome, everybody, to Business and Brain Tumor Talk. I'm your host, Rick Franzo, and right here from our subterranean studios. Thank you for that, Amanda. And our guest today, I don't know, I'm just so filled with joy. Tiffanie Bailey-Romey.
Tiffanie Bailey-Romey is in the house. And I also happen to sell homes. So, there's that piece, right?
I don't know if you sell homes, you sell dreams.
I am definitely part of the journey. I'm definitely, and I'm humbled by it. So let me just also say that, because there are 1.2 million realtors in the United States as of an NAR study count. So for the hundreds of people, thousands of people that decide that I am where they want to get that information and be a catalyst to that purchase or to that sale, I am deeply humbled, because you could have chosen anyone. But I do know when they are choosing us, my company, the tutelage of the information from the agents that work with us and work with me, and I work with them, is that you get the hand-holding experience, because I am someone who at one time never thought I could own a home. So the idea now that I do own homes, I have a book coming out called From Homeless to Home Full. So being that that's my journey, it's a superior honor to support those in their journey.
Beautiful. So that's you've got that why. Tiffanie is the broker, the CEO of Bairo Real Estate here in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, in the beautiful Pocono Mountains. And not only here in the Poconos, but where else are you licensed?
So we service majority of Pennsylvania, period. We have agents throughout Harrisburg, Allentown, Northampton, Scranton, Carbon, Marshalls Creek, Pike, Wayne. However, Philly, that's like right where it kind of stopped. But I do have access to so many colleagues that just may be under other shingles throughout the United States, like I said, with a lot of the work that I do through the National Association of Realtors. However, as a brokerage, I also service in the Georgia area. Mm-hmm. And I also service in the NYC, New York City area. I am born in Harlem, raised in South Jamaica, Queens, and then now some people say I kind of might have lost my New York card. I've been out here since 97. So I will say Pennsylvania, Pocono, Monroe, Allentown area, you have definitely captured my heart.
Oh, that's awesome. And see, I'm from the Poconos, right? But I have so many connections to New York, New Jersey, places like that. So talk about how, you became a real estate agent. So your beginnings were in Harlem, then to South Jamaica, Queens, right? And you, as a little girl, you said, I want to just be in real estate. I want to be a broker. I want to be a
That's absolutely not what happened.
Wrong. Okay.
Absolutely not what happened.
No. Okay.
No. So when I was a little girl, I actually two things I wanted to do. I wanted to be a ballerina, and I wanted to be a teacher as a little girl. And so I danced, for those who know, again, going back to Queens, Bernice Johnson. I was a student at Bernice Johnson and dance studio, and I danced there from 3 until 16. I loved teaching. I loved giving information, whatever I learned or whatever I knew how to do. I wanted to give it to other people. I would do that with young people. At one time, I was working at a camp for underprivileged kids. We started with 200 kids. By the time I completed 8 years later, we had 800 kids. And it was seriously a ministry from my heart, because I used to have to travel. At that time, I was living in Pennsylvania, coming back to South Jamaica, Queens, working at the camp because all the kids were from South Jamaica, Queens. And I wanted to show them a way of finding success, even if you didn't have a jump shot, even if you didn't have a rap career, you know, all of these things that we thought were how we can succeed. And I'm still a hairdresser. And then I became a hairdresser. That's the other thing. Became a hairdresser in this movement. Because I loved fashion, I loved style, I loved design. So all of these things were happening, and I'm still this product of, my mom had me super young. She was 16 years old, giving birth to me, single. I was raised just primarily with her. I found my father later in life. And so it was like, how can I make it? So even though I liked dancing and I wanted to teach, I was able to do hair. So at 10 years old, I started braiding hair. 12 years old, I started styling hair. 13 years old, I started getting paid to do hair. 16 years old, I became a celebrity hairstylist because the rappers were around. I knew them. I grew up with them. They asked me to do video work. So a lot of things started shifting because that portion of my life became financially fiscal. But if you think about everything I just said, it's sharing to you that at the age of 10, I was self-employed. 12, 14, 16, 18, and now y'all guess how old. I've always been self-employed. So as time progressed, and now I'm celebrity stylist. I have a salon in Queens. This is now my second salon that I have in Queens, and I'm doing video work. I'm doing movie work. I'm doing Soul Train Awards, Grammys, things like that. But in the same vein, knowing that I left behind all these kids that don't know that there's other ways to get out of the mentality of these are the only career choices when you're from this environment. So I would go back and teach at this camp, and it was a free camp. And like I said, we started with 200 kids. By the time I left, we had 800 kids, and they got, for some of the children, it was their only meal, right? So when we first started, we were able to give them free lunch. The next couple of years, we were able to give them breakfast and lunch. The first year, we didn't have everything. Then going out in the community, getting people to sponsor, getting corporate sponsorship. We now have bus passes. So now the kids can get there for free, traveling back and forth, not having to worry about somebody bringing them back. Then we would have award ceremonies. Then we was able to give scholarships. Then we were able to, once you turn 16, next year you could apply for a job and be a camp counselor. So all of these things were part of the process. And I'm grateful because of that, I got the teaching thing, that experience. And with a platform that was a little bit more grander and a practice that allowed me to then now become an educator in real estate. An educator where I teach people to get pre-licensed. I teach people once they're pre-licensed to get their broker's courses, continuing ed courses, as well as code of ethics. So all of these pieces of your journey will then show up when this other magic starts to happen. So becoming a real estate professional, my mom told me, you should get your license. It was around 17, 18. I was doing hair, making money, hanging out. I'm in the clubs. I'm having a great time. I'm super cute. I know that. And but and I'm doing it, and I'm doing certain kind of work that puts me in places. And I will say hair saved my life because I was able to travel outside of South Jamaica, Queens. I was able to travel the world. So I was able to see different things, see art in a different kind of fashion and all of these different things. But my mother said, you should, So I went to get the real estate license, passed, never did anything with it. Umpteen years later, because you do the math, how old you think I am.
Nobody's doing math. There's no math. Math is not part of the equation.
Math is not mathing.
There's no mathing.
So later, meet a boyfriend turned husband, turned fiance, turned husband. We moved to the Poconos, and that was a whole other journey of why that happened. A beautiful story, but a whole other journey of why that happened. And I'm traveling back and forth to New York doing hair. And also in the mix of that, just a little background, I also did go to college. I did get a business degree in marketing, business information systems, with a minor in physical education. That's the dancer in me, and also in African American studies. So I have this business background, and I'm running back and forth. I own a salon now. I'm selling products. I'm doing all these different things. And I then have my first child. So she's a pocketbook. You know, she on the backpack. I'm going back and forth doing all these things, right? She's traveling with me here. She's doing this. She's doing that. And then one day I remember she asked me, and she was about 3. And she asked, Mommy, can we go to Six Flags? She, I guess, saw enough commercials and I want to go to Six Flags. So I was like, all right, Genesis, we're going to go to Six Flags. I'll take you to Six Flags. And then it ended up becoming like the end of the season because I'm working so much. And she's like, Mommy, it's, you know, I want to go to Six Flags. It's like August. And then I looked at my schedule for work and I realized I'm booked. Like I am booked out. So not to hurt the baby's feelings, I called my sister-in-law, who happened to have 2 kids at the time. And I said, can you do me a favor? Can you take Genesis to Six Flags? I'll pay for everything. I'll pay for you to go. I'll pay for your kids to go. I'll pay for my kids to go. I'll give you spending money. I'll give you money to go stay at the hotel, because I know when you have 3 kids, you're not going to want to go all the way there, drive back, then what all this.
Like Oprah, you go to Six Flags.
You go to Six Flags. You go to Six Flags.
Six Flags.
So I go to give the money. I realize, yeah, this is Oprah money, and I ain't Oprah, right? But the other piece, and the biggest piece, and this is going to the why, is, yeah, I have I'm blessed to have created a business that can do this and can say, here, you go, you get a car, you get a car. But I'm getting ready to miss the experience with my child. It's way beyond here is the money. It's the experience. So then I said to myself, let me pull back. That's not true. I exist in the Poconos. I have this big house. I have all the stuff. However, I am not living. I'm existing. What can I do here that is going to support this financial situation that I've already established to some extent? And it went back to my mind of what my mother said to get into real estate. And when I got my house, my first house, I did have a real estate agent. I refuse to ever, even when the book comes out, I will never mention her by name. It was not a great experience. But I got there. And I said to myself, if I can put out a great experience for those who don't know they can get there, now I can elevate who I am in the industry and who I represent. Because again, I just said in the beginning, 1.2 million. So what's the product differentiation? What makes me different? And my differentiation was going to be, I'm going to support those who never thought they could ever own a home. So I started, because I didn't know I could ever own a home. I'm 1099, I'm getting cash, I'm this, I'm that. I lived in apartments my whole life. You know, this is just the mindset, you know, and then there's also this mindset, as long as you don't make this so much money, then you won't lose your voucher and all these other things that you know, it becomes, right? So here I'm like, well, how do I grow past this concept? Because wealth will never be created with that mindset. And I don't mean wealth just so you could have all the things. I mean where you overflow so that your overflow can help others, because that's so important. Each one teach one. So real estate happened because I wanted to create a life for myself in the environment that I chose to be in and be more available as a mother, And sorry, I wasn't thinking this through at that point, but also available as a wife and as a friend, because I'm always just working. And that commute is no joke. It's a 2-hour both ways, right? So there's this block of time. So real estate happened for me to be more available to my child. And then the next elevation was to be all the things that I have taught and learned and the Creator has given me to now bring this into this. And I don't want to sound like all I do is open up Bibles all day, because I don't, but the ministry to help others get that piece of the American pie, get that generational wealth, learn what homeownership is, understand leveraging, having a property, getting equity, being able to take maybe the equity to put your kids through college. So now they're developing that education platform so they can bring it back into the household or give their household the next level up or a leg up. So it just became amazing. And I was so, and here's the funny story. I get into it, and now I'm going to be serious. Be serious about this.
That's your serious face.
A serious face.
Got it.
And I have decided that I'm going to retire from hair now. I'm going to retire because, you gotta, when you're going to do something and it's been placed in your heart, you got to put in the work. And if you're going to if you're saying, all this wonderful stuff I just said, can't be a part-time gig, okay? You can't navigate with this and it's my side hustle. It has to be your front hustle. It has to be, and hustle is a beautiful word, and we'll talk about that later. But it has to be the forefront. It has to be what you think and what you believe. Because as a hairstylist, I did so well because I embodied it. I wore it. So I had to now, because this is my love language, I had to embody. So I decided I am going to sell my business, sell my everything, and non-compete, because of course you got to do that when you're selling something that you can duplicate very easily. Somebody gives you 6 figures for something, you go across the street and open up, all that business is still going to go to you, right? So I had to do all of these things to solidify to the individuals, because I had such a body of business that I went to a few people, and now do this. And then as this is all happening, the market crashed like kapoom. Like everything that went wrong, where, there was 1,000 homes for sale and one buyer, like all of this was happening. And I remember talking to a very good friend of mine who happens to be a Grammy Award winning rapper and actor now, and radio station.
I know who you're talking about. You can name names.
Name names. I don't want to do that.
You can name names.
Okay, LL Cool J, James Scott-Smith. So I'm telling him, what's going on in my world. And I want to thank him, because the first really, really, really big gig that I got as a stylist was doing the Grammys for him. So I want to thank him for giving me that opportunity, because again, sometimes somebody's got to put that hand out to show the world what you can do so other people can know. But he shared with me, I told him all the stuff that's happening, and he said, yeah, you're in the toilet paper industry. And I'm not going to say the word because this is a family-friendly show. But I said, yeah, the industry went to sugar, honey, iced tea. And he said, no, you're in the toilet paper industry. What I'm saying to you is everyone needs toilet paper. Everyone doesn't need Charmin. Everyone doesn't need, this brand, whatever, but everyone needs toilet paper. Everyone needs somewhere to live. So my conversation of disappointment had me, with I'm looking here. After this conversation with him, I became like a running horse. I put those blinders on. So no offense to CNN, I stopped watching you. No offense to Fox News, I stopped watching you. The BCC, all this, all the noise. I stopped listening to the noise. I stopped listening to people and the noise. And what I did was I focused on the fact that everyone needs somewhere to live. And that's it. That's the plan. And so I started when it was so unpopular, I opened up a short sale company. Very unpopular that no one wanted to do it. It's too much work. You got to talk to the banks. You got to do this. You got to do that. I started doing that. I helped people who might not have necessarily wanted to sell their home, but felt they had to. So without charging people, I helped people who were behind in their mortgage get ahead in their, or get back to being on point. Yeah. And I never charged anyone for that service. And I would tell them, if you end up selling your home and you want to work with me, that's how I get paid. But if you want to save your home, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe I left thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. But I'm going to tell you what it ended up happening. Because again, I'm from South Jamaica, Queens, and now I'm in Monroe County. Different world, totally different world, right? Yeah. And I look kind of different at that time.
At that time.
At that time, and you guys do the math. Y'all can do the math and figure that out. There's no math. But I looked different. So I supported families that probably would have never opened their door to me just because of the unknown at that time to save their home. Well, just like my friend who put me as the Grammy stylist for him when he won his Grammy Award for Mama Said Knock You Out. These families now, I am the only person that they work with. It's affluent families of Monroe County who are generational, 5, 6, 7 generations of Monroe County. I am asked to come in to be an expert real estate person in court cases with some of the attorneys whose names you see as you drive as names of streets in Monroe County. So these people got to know me from a different angle. I had no angle. I just was being me. I'm just letting you know, I wasn't so profound to say, well, if I do this today, it'll help later. No, what I'm saying is when you move in your spirit, in whatever that is, whatever is the goodness of your soul, and you also have a plan that was definitely pure, whatever that is, if you navigate accordingly, what's meant for you is going to show up beyond your wildest imagination. But you have to be focused. You have to not give it a part-time title. It's going to get hard. But as it's getting hard, you're learning to be better. 6 packs of abs does not happen in one ab routine. It's the consistency. It's staying focused. It's doing it when you don't want to do it. It's waking up when you don't want to wake up. It's making a decision that I hung out late, so I'm not going to. No, you hung out late? Well, that's your problem. You still got to get up early.
Right. Because
you got stuff to do. So I know that was a long thing to get to the thing, but that was the thing.
And that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. Tiffanie Bailey-Romey, Real Estate. One question is all that it took. That was it. That was it. I'm the best interviewer in the world.
In the world.
The world. Ever. Anywhere. Anywhere. That, if anybody sees anything this year, they watch one podcast, I encourage them to watch this one. And I'm going to say why. It's because you do everything for the right reasons, right? Does it make, do people do that? Yes, but it isn't about the money. It isn't about anything like that. That's all just kind of throwaway stuff because we don't take it with us, right? But I've said this, and I know that it resonates with your messages. We come in here with nothing. All we leave with really is uh, the memories of how we've treated people, how they feel about us. That's it. There's no more to it, right? And
A
so
Brinks truck never follows a hearse.
it's true.
It's just,
No,
you
that's
have never seen a Brinks truck following a hearse. You've never seen someone on their deathbed saying, I wish I would have worked harder. Now, you may see someone say, I wish I would have done more. That's a difference. Because again, the overflow, there's a beautiful, if anybody ever gets, if you haven't seen this movie, it is definitely, there's some, I almost say top 20 because I could switch off. So I'm not going to say top 10 because it might fall to 15 if I talk about some other things. But Schindler's List, when he was, if I had one more dollar, I could have saved. So the flow is the support, like with what you do, coaching. You could go, and I can talk about coaching. You could talk about coaching. It's that kid, and I'm again going back to South Jamaica, Queens. It's that kid that may not play basketball, but got the discipline of a work ethic from a basketball coach that would just come to the ballpark on the court on Saturdays where there was only a rim and no string, okay? And say, hey, you got to do this. Okay, I'm going to meet you here next Saturday at 6 a.m. before it gets crowded because everybody starts coming around 7:30. And it's just that person who might not have gotten a financial anything out of that. But later in life, that kid sends them a note. Hey, I just graduated college. Hey, I just did this. So it's the sacrifice of making a decision. And if you're blessed enough, because it's a blessing to actually be monetized from the things that give you great joy. And anyone out there listening and watching, you can get monetized from the things that give you joy, but you're going to have to step out of your own way. Step out of the chaos and the noise. Put your blinders on and say, if this was given to me, because it wasn't given to Tiffany, it wasn't given to Rick, it was given to me, then it already belongs to me. I just have to put in the work.
And that's the line in the sand for a lot of people, right? It's the work. They have an image of what it is. They see the end result, which is really still a work in progress, right? But then they're like, looks easy, right? I can do it. And then the first failure, the first iota of work, the first thing that goes counter to what they thought, they're like, this isn't working. I'm out, right? I'm out. And so one of my colleagues had said to me, we talk about why people don't succeed in things that they start. So we'll use coaching, right? Because we were talking specifically. A lot of people want to be coaches. A lot of people want to be real estate agents, right? A lot of people want to do, different things. We'll use real estate and coaching, right? They get in that, you've seen it, I've seen it. They get in there, they're in there for a minute and they're like, this isn't working. The system isn't working. I'm out. This is a terrible idea. They picture themselves as, I sell houses. I'm a real estate agent. Coach. I sell sales mastery and leadership development and time and priority management, right? But they never give themselves a chance. They don't become, right? They don't become. And when he said
that's the key, become.
Doug said that to me, Doug McGreal, my colleague in New Jersey, he said, they don't become a coach. They don't become a real estate agent. They become, they become just what the topical stuff is. They don't become that person that walks that path with them, right? I don't do anything except walk the path with a business, right? With from the outside in, looking at it with 35 plus years experience. And if they start to fall, right, I make sure that they don't cut themselves up on the sharp rocks. I catch them. That's it. That's all I do, right? That's it. There's no more to it than that, right? For you, when I spoke to your agents in December, right? And we talked about, my journey and my illness and everything else. What was the most important thing I said? I have a house, right? My family is taken care of. I have a house that's not only mine, but it's paid off. They have a roof over their heads. They have no worries about anything. So what was it? Did I buy a house? No, I went and invested in security for my family, right? Because there was a good chance I wasn't going to be there. I shouldn't be here, right? And so I have a house, right? I have a home. I have security. I have my family taken care of. That's all I care about. That's it.
And the key, when I even share about home ownership, and for those who are on the fence, when you are always paying a mortgage, you're either paying your own or you're paying someone else's.
Yep.
And the key with paying a mortgage, if I remember when I moved to Pennsylvania in 97 and I'm doing the commute, the gas per gallon was 69 cents per gallon. Regular gas, not super, 69 cents per gallon. And I used to get off at Fair Lodi to get gas. That was my point, get gas, get a coffee, get, if I wanted a butter roll or whatever, and keep going to New York every day. Imagine if in 1997, I could have bought what would be the 69 cents per gallon gas, and in 2024, still pay 69 cents per gallon for gas. That's home ownership. And in 97, I felt the 69 cents. Don't get me wrong. I'm filling up for 20 bucks. 20 bucks was, you felt it. You felt it. Right now, you spend $20, you're getting 2 cups of coffee at your local spot. You're not that, and that 20 bucks could get me back and forth to work a few times. So when you're buying a home, so imagine whatever you're paying today. So if we go to say 97, it was 69 cents, and in 2024, it's $4 to $5 for gas. Let's just say $4 for gas. Imagine when you own a home and you make that decision today, 20, 30 years from now, if you do nothing, it'll be paid and you won't even have the 69 cents to pay. But the first 3 to 5 years, you feel something. After that, because as your house is staying at that price point, because rent, you would have kept going every year 10% up, right? But let's say that first 5 years, because it took a little bit of something to get that home. Year 6, it's not feeling so bad. Year 10, you're making more because your life has increased. Your income has increased. Everything around you, maybe you have more investments, maybe you're doing other things, but now this stays here. You start being above that payment. And like you said, God forbid something happens, real estate is going up. So that $400,000 house that you bought now, because that was 196 then. Right. Now that house is 500,000, right? So 196, umpteen years later, my mortgage would have been down here. It's now worth $500,000. Just saying from the 196, 200,000, that's a $300,000 check in my pocket. Also, after about 5 years, if I was renting, I would have been spending more monthly.
Sure. And have nothing to show for it.
I have nothing to show for
Nothing
it.
to show for it. So, it's really about seeing the forest through the trees, getting out of your own head, out of your own way, and really believing what it is that you can be achieving. I just made that up right there, and it rhymed, and so pretty impressive.
You know what? I know people. We can get you a deal.
You do know people. You do know people. As we close, as we close out, what would you say to somebody that is looking to start their own business, no matter what it is? What would be one strategy, one nugget, one piece of advice from you, who is so seasoned in being an entrepreneur? What is the one thing that you would impart to them? And you say yours, and then I'll say mine.
It's going to go, and this is not a plug, but this is real truth. This is spirit truth. Make sure you have people around you that are positive influences, not yes men. That's not what I said. Positive influences. And if you feel you have a passion, but you don't have the other pieces, hire a Rick coach. Get a coach. Get someone, because it's very difficult. It's very difficult to always just have lunch with successful people. A lot of times they may not have the time. They may want to support you. They may not have the time. But look at what kind of budget you have. And I'll tell you, and to anyone out there that says, I can't afford to, I'm going to tell you, you can't afford not to. The mistakes that you will make, I'm grateful for my education in business. But again, that was a lot of money. 4 years of college, actually 5, because I have 2 majors. It costs money, but it was so important. If that's not your storyline, if you don't have that background, and even if you do, who coaches the coach, right? Because I still need, right? You got to sharpen yourself with another sharp individual. But if you're starting, positive people around you, and align yourself with someone whose intention is to support you, and that's going to cost you something. But I guarantee you, you will win way more than you will lose.
Perfectly said, and thank you so much for that. My advice would be, just start. Just start. You can't go anywhere if you don't make that first move. Just start. It's going to be scary. May make you nauseous. It's good. Maybe it's a big enough dream, right? But just start, right? And don't be afraid to ask for help, right? Don't have that pride and ego and all that other kind of nonsense. Take it and chuck it. It does you no good.
Yeah. One of my things on Facebook, if you follow me, you'll hear this from time to time, and it just sparked because Rick mentioned your dream. So I hashtag, dreams are free. So don't dream cheap.
That's right. That's our show. Tiffanie, thank you so much for joining us. Tiffanie Bailey-Romey, CEO of Bairo Real Estate. All of her information is going to be accessible. If you do nothing else, watch this episode. Follow Tiffanie. She gives inspiration every day. Tiffanie, thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me today, and thank you so much for the invitation. And again, to you and all that you do, and all your viewers, watching Rick, hearing Rick, looking at his posts, you're going to get something. You always have an amazing takeaway. And so I'm so super proud of you. And I'm so super proud and grateful to the creator for you, going through your journey and your empathetic ways of handling people in their business journeys. And you deserve so many kudos.
Thank you. I am just grateful that you and I were connected and put in front of each other about a year ago or so. So thank you very much. This has been Business and Brain Tumor Talk. Have a great day and stay gold.